All right, I have 6:30. I'll call to order this meeting of the Columbus Common Council regular meeting for Thursday, July 6, 2017. And when you're ready, could you please take the roll?
Reed.
Here.
Rule.
Here.
Troxler.
Here.
Hendrickson.
Here.
Kenny.
Here.
Malat.
Here.
Tome.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. If able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting has been posted as an open meeting in accordance with all state statutes and local ordinances. Next is to approve the agenda. Unless there's any alterations or deletions, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. On to number 5, correspondence and communications. We originally had news from the pool on the agenda. That's not going to be happening tonight. We'll be getting a written report from Amy Jo. Was there anyone signed up back there, Lisa? Okay. It's completely up to you. If you want to speak during the agenda item during the committee of the whole, you can wait till then. Okay. Was there anyone else that wanted to speak tonight that didn't get a chance to sign up? Okay. I know we do have Heather Caldwell here, and that will be, she'll speak during number 1 on unfinished business. Okay, on the consent agenda, we have council minutes from June 20, HLPC minutes from June 14th, Police and Fire Commission minutes from June 11th, Plan Commission from April 20, and Cable Commission from March 13. Unless anyone wanted to break anything off the consent agenda separately, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda is approved. We'll move on then to unfinished business number 1. Consider and take action on the recommendations from Chief Meister on operator's license renewals for the term of July 1, 2017 to June 30, 2019. I believe this was brought back from the last meeting for one licensee, which would be Heather Caldwell. Is that clear? Okay. Heather, if you wanted to come up to the podium, then if the council has questions, I know there was a request to have Heather present to kind of answer questions.
So if I could start, I would first like to apologize for not being here last city council meeting. I had the option to pick up a shift while I still maintain the liquor license, and I definitely need the finances to pay for my mistake, which is why I'm here in the first place. So I decided to pick up a shift instead of be here, and I definitely appreciate you guys letting me come back. And I would like to see my liquor license renewed for my employment. I definitely need it to maintain my finances. And I'm asking for a renewal.
Thank you, Heather. Questions from council?
Is your court case still pending for the THC?
Yes.
Okay. There's no conviction?
No.
All right.
Everything happened outside of work, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Heather while she's here?
That was the one question I had.
Okay, what is the will of the council at this point?
I'm in favor of renewing the operator license.
Same.
Is that a motion?
Second. That's a motion.
Sure,
Okay.
it's a motion. I thought you were just asking for each person's individual opinion. You didn't seek a motion, so. Motion to renew the operator license.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to renew the operator license for Heather Caldwell. for the term of July 1, 2017 to June 30, 2019. Any discussion on the motion?
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for renewing my license. I really appreciate it.
Yes, yeah, we haven't voted yet.
We still have to vote.
Could we do a roll call on that, please, Ann?
Rule,
Aye.
Draxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
unanimous.
Motion passes. Thanks for coming in, Heather. Okay, we'll move on to new business then. Number 1 is consider and take action on streetlight committee report for additional lighting on Maple Avenue. This was discussed at the committee of the whole and forwarded to this meeting. Any further questions on this? Go ahead.
Kind of just reviewing what we talked about at the last meeting again, and thinking about this. And I know one of the other items that have come up on a previous agenda was putting a putting a street light in on a different street in town that's actually internal into the city itself. We're looking at shy of $1,200 a year for streetlights in an area of town that may or may not, I believe, need them. I think we might be solving an issue that's temporary. I guess that's kind of my 2 cents on the issue. You figure we're looking at least $12 a year for the actual poles themselves, not including installation or maintenance going forward. Are there other locations in town where these poles could be put up on busier streets or streets that are actually lived on as opposed to more rural road? That's kind of my 2 cents on the issue before we get going.
Very good.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Matt, and there might be other streets, but at this point, this one's come forward, and just anecdotally living in the area, I can see that traffic increase is palpable. Semi-truck traffic alone. Future development seems to be creeping that way anyway, so I figure you might as well get ahead of the storm, so to speak.
Trina?
Although there aren't many residents in the area, I just thought this would be a good idea for increased safety for the driving traffic that is picking up a bit.
Anyone else?
Okay. I think this is one of the darkest roads that I drive on in Columbus, and water and lights out there, and with more traffic out there that I've seen, I think it'd be a good idea. When I go out, when I get done with the water and light in the winter, it is freakishly dark out there, and it would help a lot just defining where the road is.
How many additional lights were going to be added? 4?
7.
7?
4 have existing poles, or 3 have existing poles, and 4 will get new poles, or vice versa.
4 lights and 3
There you
pole
go.
and lights. So we're mounting lights on existing poles and putting in several new ones at the end closest to 151.
Even more correct, I think we're reusing poles from the
Sorry.
James Street corridor, so.
That's what it looks like in the old LED fixtures and arms from James Street.
Mhm.
Matt, I think, I watched the last meeting. I think you make a good point. There's not much expense here, obviously, because they're recycling poles and fixtures to put out in that area. I guess I know there was some conversation where Jason had said maybe there was some previous traffic studies with the developments that had been out there in recent years, and I didn't know if the council wanted to wait and look at that or approve it, but it's here obviously for tonight. I think, some added light probably could benefit the area. However, I think those lights usually come with development. It is a rural section of road right now. There's not sidewalks. So there's other things to consider as well. But I think the fact that we have a surplus of poles and arms, the expense is about as low as it could get right now. So unless there's any further discussion, I'll take any motions on the issue. Trina, go ahead.
I'm going to make a motion to approve additional lighting for Maple.
You don't have to put your light on to make a motion. But thank you for
Such a
being so
habit.
courteous.
Such a habit.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the additional lighting on Maple Avenue. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, can we do a voice vote on that? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye. Nay.
Right. One dissenting vote, motion passes. Thank you. On to number 2 then is consider and take action on annual review renewals for various insurance policies for July 10th, 2017 to July 10th, 2018. You had the insurance review at the last committee of the whole meeting from Dennis Gupta. Any questions on this? Matt?
If I remember correctly, Regan, you asked for additional numbers for demolition. Right here is 50,000. I think we requested a couple other numbers, and those were not in here. Dennis, do you have anything up to date for us?
Thanks for being here, Dennis, for questions.
Thanks for having me back. We got $50,000 on a municipal endorsement for demolition. The request to have more, you can't have it. Reason being is that when the EMC endorsements are approved, all these forms and policies have to be ISO, Insurance Services Organization, have to be filed with ISO per state. The insurance forms for the municipal endorsement include $30,000 or $50,000 worth of demolition per building, but they also include blanket limits. So we've got $56 million blanket limits for buildings. Included in those blanket limits is 25% per scheduled building is also available for demolition. So you've got this building, for an example, you have 3.4 million on this building. You've got 50,000 for demolition. There's lots of weight here. There's lots of concrete, masonry, this kind of stuff's got to be hauled away. So let's call it 3.6 million, because that's divided by 4, that's 900,000. Additional 900,000 is 25% of that building limit for this building is available for demolition again. Problem with that is that takes away from your building limits to reconstruct, but the blanket covers that hole again. So you've got the entire 56 million there. So any building you intend to replace would have plenty of limits for demolition, and we have plenty of limits for building and ordinance to come back in and rebuild the building for building codes. So does everybody, did my explanation go through? I mean, so there is plenty of demolition. The building that brought this about was a building that was not likely to be reconstructed. And in that situation, it would have been an actual cash value demolition. There would have been the 50,000 available, and that's about it. So that's why we went the other way on the other one.
Thanks, Dennis. Anything further? Any other questions for Dennis while he's up here? I think that was the main question at the last committee of the whole meeting, so thank you.
Can I add one piece here?
Please go right ahead.
Looking forward to number 6 up there. While I was with EMC down in Des Moines, Iowa, they had and I haven't talked to Randy about this, they had a 5-story masonry fire department burning tower. And they allowed insurance agents to go up there in gear and apparatus, first time I'd been in that stuff. They took us up to the 2nd floor where they had pallets burning and a couch ready to throw on. And they told you crawled up there and they'd take your hand out of the glove and you put it up there and everything was decent as long as you stayed low. But as soon as you hit that fire with water, it immediately, the hydration or the moisture pushed all that heat right down on you. And the experience of somebody in training, going through a training tower and finding that out in a training tower, as opposed to finding it out in a house that's burning, would be just a great tool. I didn't know anything about this, but I just wanted to share that bit of information. It's a great tool to have access to a training tower.
Thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
Mike, I actually had one more question for Dennis before you walk.
Sorry, Dennis, there might be one more question here.
sorry.
Matt, go ahead.
First off, don't give the chief any ideas about 5, 6, 7-story tall towers. That'd be a bad idea. Just to kind of go off what you just said, so I think I have an idea of what the blanket and the 56 million. You said that the water tower was not eligible for that. I guess, is there any other building in town that's city-owned that would also not be eligible for this blanket 25% cap thing?
Not
other
that
than
I
just
can
the water
think
tower? I mean,
of.
obviously, like kind of grabbing
Yeah.
you right off the,
I don't think, as we've been through the buildings and stuff, I think every other building you have on policy is being used for a purpose. If you had a catastrophic loss, replacement cost is available to be moved. So as you've purchased new locations, if you were planning on moving services to different locations, and had we had a loss at one building, and you were gonna tear it down there and build it someplace else, that would be available to you.
But since we didn't tear down the water tower and build it back in,
Right.
or wouldn't move it kind of thing. So that might be like the oddity that led to this discussion, but it might be a moot point in the end because everything else.
Well, I will give you
Should
the
be
opportunity
covered.
to spend more money on insurance, raise the price of that water tower to something around $1 million, because in the village of Fall River, they have 2 towers balanced, and their water pressure comes from both towers. It's fed to, and I'm not sure how the city of Columbus works. I know just enough about this stuff to be dangerous.
I can tell.
And, but with that, if you wanted to move that second, if you needed a second water tower, and you wanted to move that cost to replacement, you could move that water tower someplace else where it might fit that bill. I don't know if that's in the cards, but
Yeah.
I have no idea what these guys are talking about when they're in there.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Water tower's been removed from the system.
Mhm.
It's purely historic.
But if you had it insured for the right amount, you could go someplace else and reconstruct a new tower. So, okay,
Thank you, Dennis.
all right.
Any other questions? All right, thanks, Dennis.
Thanks.
Okay, if there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion, any motion.
I'll make the motion to renew the various insurance policies.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the renewals for various insurance policies for July 10th, 2017 to July 10th, 2018. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's take a roll on that.
Draxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Kinney.
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Rule.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. On to number 3, consider and take action to expand duties of summer intern to include city website and social media assistance. Since I wasn't at the last meeting, I don't know if I saw this part or not, but if you want to summarize, Patrick, or if there's any questions, seems pretty
I
straightforward.
can if it helps you, Mayor, or others. This was a thought with the loss of Economic Development Director. We have someone on staff working with the James Street Project who's knowledgeable about social media, and electronic media and the website. So my proposal was to expand his hours and duties to help us with that task in the interim between now and the time we replace Dave Carlson.
Makes sense. Any questions?
I have a quick one.
Or go ahead, Reagan.
We list in here in the body of the agenda item 3 to 5 hours per week for web page development and promotion, but we're including social media assistance too, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you think that's a good average for both?
I think that'll take care of what we need, yeah.
Makes sense to me. Thank you.
Anything else? I'll entertain any motions.
Make a motion to expand the duties of the summer intern to include the city website and social media assistance.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the expansion of duties of the summer intern to include city website and social media assistance. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's take a roll call on that.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Kinney.
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Rule.
Aye.
Traxler.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. On to number 4. Resolution 14-17, a resolution supporting the submission of a Wisconsin Department of Transportation Facilities for Economic Assistance T-Grant application. I believe this was reviewed at the last committee of the whole. Any questions on this one? If there are no questions, I'll entertain any motion.
Motion to pass Resolution 14-17 in support of the submission of a Wisconsin Department of Transportation Facilities for Economic Assistance Grant application.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve Resolution 14-17. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Motion passes. On to number 5 then. Consider and take action on task order 2017-05 with Rupert Milkey for the T application. I believe this was this reviewed at the last committee of the whole? Any questions on this? Jason is here in case there are any questions. Looks like the cost for the application would be about $12,962 according to the task order. If there are no oh, Matt, you have a question? Sorry, I didn't see your light.
Sorry, no problem.
Thanks for being here, Jason.
Looking at Section 2, services provided by R&M, subsection B, some of the site plan information, map, site plan, schematic, is how much of this is coming from Drexel themselves versus how much is being performed by R&M? Or is all of it being done by us since you're city representative for et cetera, et cetera?
Right, so the T grant is applicable to the roadway design for Hall Road. And so we will be developing the roadway in conjunction with not just Drexel, the property to the south, but Fromm. And matter of fact, we met this morning with Fromm. So what's in here isn't the roadway design, but it's to develop the concepts and the schematics to put in there. As part of this application, there also is what they call a design study report. That's the full-blown design report that the DOT requires as part of the submission. We actually put that piece actually with the design because, you know, that's kind of the body of the design of the roadway project. So that piece, although it's got to go submit with the application, is with the task order on the committee of the whole. But that will be the roadway design component where we're looking at, you know, different components of what the application requires. So.
And I was also looking back here for Section 6 for payments for you all. You kind of have a short breakdown of Phase 1, Phase 2, and then your standard hourly rates to get down to our total. I guess, was there no like supplemental Exhibit A kind of breaking down hours and who would be performing the work, as I've seen in some other task orders, I guess, or did you
We do have
keep
one.
it short because it was a small
We do
amount?
have one, and if the breakdown wasn't submitted, I apologize. It should have been. That's kind of our standard policy now that we've talked about going forward, and I can certainly provide that. But it is kind of based off of the meeting that we had with staff here at the city, and we kind of decided what scope items. There's certain things with the application that we won't be doing, that staff will be working with. There's other information that we'll need from potentially Fromm and Drexel, and there was also some talk about piggybacking this application with the railway piece that Drexel would like apply for the T grant as well. So there's going to be pieces that Drexel will be doing. There's pieces of information that'll be coming forth from the city that they'll be coordinating as well. But our breakdown does identify those tasks, and the tasks are in the scope, but the man hours that are assigned, I can get for you to, before we sign it, or however you guys want to do it. We can definitely provide that because that was the basis for the cost.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Is any of this cost reimbursable through the T grant?
Yes,
It is.
engineering is
How much?
50%.
50%?
Yeah.
Okay. And as far as the other 50%, is that something we can recapture through our share of the increment, or just wondering budgetarily where the money will come
It's a
from?
finance question. I'm not so sure.
Patrick?
Yeah, this would be an expense for the for the TIF, so it
Okay.
would have to come out of the TIF.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions? I'll entertain any motions then.
I have a quick question for Patrick. What's our time frame for submitting the application for T grant? I know it sounded like people you talked to at the department were more than happy to have this come through.
Right.
Are we looking up at a hard date here pretty soon, or?
I think as soon as we get these items approved, we'll move forward on it right away. Just with the timelines we've been talking about with Drexel and wanting to get Hall Road built within a year of their occupation of the land, we're going to need to get that in. So,
Okay. Yeah. I would want to pause this and have him provide all the information, but because of time frame for the T grant, I think that we should continue forward with this, but, being an official document, not having all the exhibits, I think we're kind of getting into a missing information thing that we've had a conversation before, so, but, motion to approve as written.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the task order 2017-05 with Rupert Milkie for the T grant application. Any discussion on the motion? I'll ask for a roll on that, Ann.
Kenny,
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Rule,
Aye.
Traxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you. On to number 6, consider and take action to approve fire department accepting donations for the construction of a training tower. Chief Kane's here if there's any questions, but I believe we've had the conversation already, and this is basically just to memorialize accepting that and allowing for the fundraising. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve fundraising for a fire department training tower.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. On to number 7, consider and take action on Resolution 13-17, opposing efforts to repeal the personal property tax in Wisconsin. This is something that has been discussed at the Committee of the Whole. I believe Patrick drafted a resolution to send to our legislators concerning this issue. Any questions, comments on this, Patrick?
Just, I guess it's appropriate just to fill you in on where things are at with the state budget, where this is pending right now, and the news is there isn't news with the state budget. They were supposed to have it completed by July 1st, but I believe that the transportation fund issue is probably the biggest roadblock in that right now. So, so we still have a good amount of time to get this resolution to our people and make sure they know how we feel about it.
Reagan, go ahead.
Want to thank Patrick for doing the legwork on this and bringing it to us. It's critical, of course, to communities our size. I would venture almost every community in this state. Similar to the dark store theory, we're just trying to basically protect our funding sources so we can keep our community operating fully the way we like and have resources to take care of our needs and wants. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Anything else? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 13-17.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve Resolution 13-17, opposing efforts to repeal the personal property tax in Wisconsin. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. On to number 8, consider a mayoral appointment of William Reese to the Community Development Authority. William emailed me about 3 weeks ago asking how he could get involved in the community, and I let him know what openings we had on various boards, committees, and commissions. We had a short phone call, and it sounded like he wanted to get involved with the CDA, which is kind of in limbo right now, I guess, without having an economic development director. But I think that his experience will suit the group well. He did serve on a school board before moving to the city of Columbus a few years ago, and now works at the Farmers and Merchants Bank as a financial underwriter. So unless there's any questions, I would appreciate the approval of the mayoral appointment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the mayoral appointment of William Reese to the Community Development Authority. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And on to number 9, consider and take action on applications for operators licenses. On the agenda, we had Margaret Armentrout, Cindy Klein, and then we have one additional from Ann, who is Kim S. Last name is spelled S-K-O-R-G-A-N-C. Any questions on that? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the operators licenses as listed.
Motion to approve the operator's licenses as listed.
Second.
A motion and a second. Matt, did you have a question?
I just wasn't sure if we wanted to do them separately, kind of falling in line with what we've been doing with all the rest of them previously. But I think we did bundle all the licenses for people together, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I couldn't remember exactly.
Okay.
To clarify.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve operators licenses for Margaret Armentrout, Cindy Klein, and Kim S. as read. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Licenses are approved. Thank you. Number 10, consider and take action on claims in the amount of $996,498.23. Any questions on the claims? If there are no questions, I will entertain a motion to approve the claims.
Motion to approve?
Oh, sorry. Kim, I didn't see you back there.
Sorry, I didn't want anyone to show. I'd ask that,
Please just come up to the, so we can hear you, or the audience can hear. Thanks, Kim.
no problem. I would ask that we take the Otis elevator invoice out of the listing of bills that you would be approving tonight and table that for 2 weeks until the next meeting.
Do we have an amount, or do you know which page that's
It's
on?
like $5,383 and change.
Okay.
And it would be under administration, and I think it's about the 3rd page in. We're working on a new contract with them, and I think we've had some real favorable responses financially as far as the contract amount, because that dollar amount is solely for the city hall's elevator repair and maintenance contract. And what we've been talking to them about is bundling the library, city hall, and the pavilion. And what we've seen so far, and the reason why I want to wait is because I'd like to have Paul look at the new language that they sent us to make sure that we're apples to apples, and we aren't going to put ourselves in a position where we'd be signing a new contract with them that wouldn't be the same level of coverage that we have right now, or level of protection. So,
Thank you, Kim. Any questions on that? Seems to make sense.
thank you, guys.
All right, did we have a motion and a second before, Kim?
Nope. Oh, yes, you did, Hendrickson Rule.
Okay.
So I'll amend my motion to withdraw the invoice as requested by Kim.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the claims, minus the invoice for Otis Elevator in the amount of $5,383.31 per the recommendation of the City Finance Director, Kim Manley. Any further questions? Seeing none, Ann, could you please take the roll?
Malat,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Rule,
Aye.
Traxler,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you. On to report of city officers. I'll turn the floor over to you, Patrick.
Thank you, Mayor Tome. I just have two quick things. One is, well, while we're still in the midst of the July 4th celebration, I think thus far everything's gone pretty well, even in spite of our construction project. Saw a lot of visitors on the 4th for the parade and the fireworks, so hopefully it continues that way. Hopefully the bad weather stays away and the good weather stays for the remainder of the week at least. Related to that, was last week we had a pretty harsh storm hit, and I just wanted to quick credit our new emergency management director, Amy Sandow. She was here right before anybody, really got going on the storm, right to City Hall and started working. So I took that as a great first start for her. Much credit, as always, and again to Water and Light for their quick response, Public Works getting out to work on the cleanup right away. Police and fire were involved as well. So we don't like to see that stuff happen, but we're ready to tackle it when it comes up. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick. I wanted to thank Reagan Rule for having a very long meeting and stepping in and filling in for me at the last meeting while I was gone on vacation. Thank you. I know that's a lot of work to run both meetings in one night. So, also, there was a Britain's concert Friday, June 30th, another effort to raise funds for the pavilion. Very well attended. I was there volunteering for a while, but I wanted to thank the HLPC and all the other civic organizations that kind of partnered up with them to put that on. It was a great event. John, Paul, George, and Ringo were all very thankful for the new elevator when they were hauling their stuff out at 1 o'clock in the morning. To piggyback on what Patrick said, again, the 28th, June 28th, the windstorm, just thanking everybody, including Amy, for their efforts on a very quick cleanup, I thought, and getting the power restored to everyone. So, and of course, we're still in the midst of the July 4th celebration that continues through tomorrow, I believe. So thanks to the 4th of July committee, all the volunteers and the organizations and groups that really volunteer a lot of time and planning year-round to make all this stuff happen. So thanks to all of them. That's all I had, unless anyone else had anything. Take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We stand adjourned. We'll return in about 5 minutes for the committee of the whole meeting. Thank you.